Let's have a look. What the shit? Rolling. Okay, we've changed the setup, so now there's a big fucking spotlight in front of me. I'm blinded and shit. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be reviewing the Ares Striker AST-01. Now, the AST-01 is, of course, Ares' next generation of bolt-action sniper rifles. They are known already as very decent basis for modifications and as an introduction to airsoft sniping. And of course, the AST-01 being the most recent addition, it has a lot of these very nice features and even more improvements to the base AS-01 that makes it a very potent platform for airsoft snipers. As we know before, the Ares Striker comprises of the AS-01, the original full-length Scout stock sniper rifles. They have the AS-02, which is a shortened barrel full stock, and the AS-03, which is just a pirate gun, really. And now to the fourth in the family, the AST-01. They have now opted for a more PRS stock approach, that being the precision rifle stock. And as you can see, there are a lot of ergonomic adjustments here. We'll talk about those in a minute. Let's talk about the performance first. So for this whole test, we'll be using Red Wolf 0.3 grams BBs. I am not exactly concerned about the FPS, but we're more concerned about how consistent it is in terms of accuracy, because really that's all that matters in airsoft sniping most of the time. So at 20 meters, you're looking at a more or less hand-sized target. It is a little bit of lackluster, I know. Similar to a stock VSR performance, if not, it's around there. And as you can see, it's not really the best out of a stock sniper rifle. If you want that, you would have gone for the SRS, but again, the SRS is indeed double the price of the AST-01, and that is not cheap. Then of course you'll be looking at the upgrade paths of this, and thanks to a GRZ member, we got hooked up with a fully tricked out AST-03. He has installed the Action Army hub-up chamber and a full-length inner barrel, as well as adding the Amoeba's M-Lock rail. This is a very nice gun to just look at, and its performance is very nice. can see, it's now a significant improvement. Let me get it in frame here, to the stock groupings. It's now contained within the palm, and of course there are some little variations here and there, just mainly due to the fact that he hasn't exactly tuned it to the best performance. However, you're also jumping in about the same amount of money in the base gun as with the modifications. Again, it's very conducive to, or just airsoft sniping in general, where we'll just buy a cheap JG Bar 10 and throw a lot of mods to it. However, again, this is a good base gun. There isn't much you need to modify to get it to spec. So for a normal JG, you might have to get the barrel, get the chamber, basically replace all the internals. But with a Ares Amoeba, you could achieve the same, well, with the Striker, you could achieve very similar, if not better performance with much less modifications, which makes it a much better choice for people who just want to get into sniping. Now, of course, to compare that with one of my personal GHK 14.5-inch M4s. It's a GBB, of course, and the reason being is that I want to show you guys how the stock sniper rifles would perform up against a fairly upgraded just GBB platforms. As you can see, it's not much of a difference. Of course, because of how Airsoft GBB works, I go to bench it and the recoil is going to take it much higher. However, you see the vertical groupings are very similar. Horizontal groupings also very similar. This shows you that if you really want to go into airsoft sniping, you would really want to have an upgraded sniper rifle than per se a stock one, because as we all know, stock sniper rifles, especially the spring ones, perform very similarly to the ARs, the AKs, which again, even though they were upgraded, they still have the semi-auto and full auto functions, meaning that if you're not gonna upgrade your bolt action, you'll be at a very severe disadvantage. So, that said, there are some very basic modifications that you have to do with the AST-03. That being the barrel spacers. Reason being, when it comes out of the factory, the inner to outer barrel spacers are very, very wobbly. They have their tolerances are not great, and you would need to take Teflon tape to wrap it around it and put it back in to stabilize the inner barrel a bit more. That, although didn't yield a noticeable change in grouping, does make the shots a bit more consistent, as now the shots weren't just flying off to random sides for like 5 or 6 shots and then going back to the other side, which, if you know, it's very important for airsoft sniper rifles to be consistent. With that said, let's talk about the ergonomics of the AST-01. As you can see, the AST-01, unlike its predecessor, is now closer to a precision rifle than a scout rifle. This, of course, has its upsides and downsides. It has almost an excessive amount of adjustment in the stock. If you've seen the Red Wolf Airsoft video, you would know that there's an angle adjustment for the grip. You can count it out and count it one way or the other for shooter preference. There's the comb height adjustment, which I find actually very nice, and the length of pull adjustment, which, depending on who you are, you might really like it or really hate it. And we'll explain why. These ergonomic adjustments, although are great, it also makes it very, very busy for a scout rifle, which is usually the kind of rifle we would like to see and use as an airsoft sniper. Being that in airsoft, snipers don't stay in one place and shoot a few targets. They would typically maneuver around, hide to gain an upper hand in stealth instead of using range as their only weapon. This is mainly because airsoft snipers, although they could achieve very long range compared to other platforms, they are also not exactly the most precise thing at those ranges. And added with the fact that under most systems there is a legal or practical limit to the power, meaning that at those very long ranges they won't feel it anyways. Added to the fact that it's a bolt action, you're not gonna get a lot of kills just by shooting long range. This means that most sniper rifles we want to use for practical matters needs to be a very lightweight platform. With this stock, this is very, very heavy, a lot heavier than the original AS-01. Now we can already see that there are also some ergonomic issues, mainly the pistol grip. The pistol grip, as you can see, starts off canted and bends down to form a almost 90 degrees vertical pistol grip. This is, of course, very, very welcomed in normal precision rifle applications where you just want a very straightforward pull towards the back of the trigger guard. This kind of grip makes it much easier to do that. However, this also makes it really difficult to grip onto the gun. I mean, it might be me with the small hands, but if I'm trying to hold it like this, down here, I can't exactly pull the trigger. But if I want to hold it up here, I can pull the trigger, but now I have to chicken wing it out because the angle is not the most comfortable thing. And this isn't just a gripe that only I have. Mark has also expressed that in his rifle video. I personally like the AS-01 stocks more just because their grips are a bit more traditional and comfortable. That said, added with the fact that there are some really excessive adjustments, I mean, who really needs this grip angle adjustment? And yeah, it's just a bit too much for a scout rifle, which is the kind of rifle we like for airsoft sniping. That said, there is one feature that I really, really like about this, and this is the, let me show it up better, the magazine slot and the buttstock. And I'll talk you through why. Normally for a AS-01, these standard length magazines, they hold 45 rounds. With shorter ones, I forgot how much they hold, but around 30, 20, hazard a guess. So normally with a AS-01 without the magazine stock, you would have 45 rounds in the gun, and you'll have to find extra magazine pouches. And added with the fact that this is magazine size very similar to what you would have for a 338 Win Mag in real steel, you really can't find good magazine pouches for these. However, with the magazine stock, let me just get it in here, you now are able to have 90 rounds on a gun, which would normally for a airsoft sniper last you a entire 30-minute round of outdoors, which again, if you need more mags, you can carry them, but it's very nice to have 90 rounds on hand on your sniper rifle only. and depending on who you are, you don't even have to buy extra mag pouches. You can just run a pistol and pistol belt, which is a good idea for people who just want to start sniping and don't really want to talk about gear that much, because Jesus Christ, it is really hard to find magazine pouches for these things. Now, to show you how the ergonomics actually affect the sniper rifle's shooting performance, I performed a mad minute, being that in 1 minute I will be dumping as many rounds onto a IPSC target at around 15 meters, and yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Go. Three, two, one, stop!
The result is that I hit all of the shots, of course, because I'm doing this offhand with a knee support. I am not the best of shots, but as you can see, it's not bad ergonomically. It's very easy to pick up this rifle and shoot very well with it, and the fact that you don't have to come off it to rack the bolt is very nice. One of the more interesting things with the AST-01 is the ability to use upgraded amoeba rails. This one, there is an aluminum rail to mount to a bipod, excuse me. And this makes it even closer to a PRS platform than the original AST-01. Of course, if you're really just want the PRS platform, this is probably your jam. Final verdict: it's a very decent sniper rifle to get for its price. It's $230 as a base sniper, 1 mag, no scope. You have to get your own scope, but it is a very nice base gun that you could work on with it's still major modifications, but it's very easy to do. With those modifications, it could shoot very accurately, which is very much a blessing for amateur snipers who don't want to put too much effort into their guns. Its current MSRP is around $230. It's a little bit less on Red Wolf's website. And granted, it is a very nice base gun, but it's eclipsed by the original AST-01, which is much cheaper at around 100 something, I forgot. It's much cheaper. It has a much better stock for airsoft sniping and scout reconnoitering kind of work. And yeah, if you like the PRS aesthetic, you should get this for your first sniper. It's a great gun, honestly. Granted, the fact that it has a PRS stock makes it a bit heavier, but it's still very light compared to other platforms I've seen. I mean, the Archwick one isn't exactly the lightest thing in the world. This is very much lighter than that. However, if you just want a base rifle to start working on it, to start sniping, this, you really are just better off with the original AS-01 if you can still get them. Granted, the magazine stock is a very nice addition, but it is not a big enough deal for me to say, go get this gun immediately. Because a lot of the other features, in my opinion, has basically negated the positive effects of having a magazine in the stock. And we have reached the end of the video, I guess. If you like what you saw, please press like, subscribe, comment down there, tell me that you like this. I will definitely continue to make these kind of contents. This is very nice for me. And now I want to shout out to Red Wolf, who provided this AST-01 to GRZ, which then they've thankfully handed this to me for review, and I've been having a very pleasant experience with both parties. And as well, thanks to a GRZ member, I was able to handle this fully upgraded version, which gives me a much better idea of what this platform could go into. See you next time. Right.